Hey everybody, ezymode here, and I'm coming at you with another video regarding Path of Exile 2's content drop 0.3 the third edict. And this is my league starter, my Grenadier WitchHunter, that I posted a previous video on the first weekend. And I gotta say, this build has been really fun to play with, and I'm kind of like in the end game. I'm level 92, and I did the Arbiter, I was able to do some of the pinnacle bosses, so on and so forth, and nothing has really put me up to challenge yet, so it'd be nice to be able to kind of see how far I can push this guy. I'm trying to make this one into a little bit more of a official guide for this build, because the last one was kind of just me trying to get a video out saying, hey, this actually looks really good, take a look at it, so on and so forth. So I'm going to spend a little time talking about the gear, the gen choices I've chosen, and my passive tree. So let's just take a look at my gear first, right? My gear consists of primarily armor evasion gear. And the reason why I'm doing armor evasion, with the exception of my gloves, is because of the node I have on my passive tree called Iron Reflexes. It converts all of my evasion rating to armor. Previously, I was doing armor evasion just because I thought hybrid would be good with the deflect node, and being able to get some good evasion, some decent evasion on top of armor I thought would be ideal. Comes to find out, deflect, you have to actually heavily invest into evasion for it to be somewhat decent. So I opted to go for the 30% armor also applies to elemental damage, sort of like full sending it in that. I know in my previous video I did say I got this because I thought it was pretty good. I also thought these were pretty good, but I wanted to do a mixture of armor also applies to elemental damage on top of deflect. Being a little greedy, I probably wanted to get both of those suffixes on my gear, but I decided to not go for that because the more I progressed in the game, the less I saw my evasion being helpful for me. I had it at like 25%. It was, I think, like 5k evasion or something like that. Maybe, no, I think, yeah, it was like 5k or something like that. And I didn't feel like, I felt squishy still, even though I had like 10k, excuse me, I had like 8k, 9k, 7k armor or something like that. And it was like at 50%. So now instead of having that, I have now 10k armor, with 13k armor also applies to elemental damage, and it's about 73% mitigation from fizz hits. It gets higher with my scavenge plating, so my scavenge plating will be able to provide me 40% more armor, so I get to about like 78, almost I think 80%. It's like 13k, 14k when it comes to armor, and I actually feel much tankier now. So that actually is working out for me in the long run for my character. As you see, all my pieces except for my gloves have this armor also applies elemental damage, and actually a lot of these pieces I self-crafted. The new crafting system that they've introduced, or just not even new crafting system, but like the new abyss mechanic with like the changes they've done to like essences and just introducing these other orbs, have really made crafting hella fun in this game. Like, I love crafting my own gear in PoE1, and PoE2 was kind of a drag because like you craft something, you throw an orb on it, it kind of sucked, you move on with your life. Now you can kind of deterministically build something like this particular crossbow. Another content creator by the name of Lilaholics kind of posted a video about this where you can deterministically build this crossbow from the ground up, and I would check it out. I'll probably put a link in the description here so you guys can check it out. But this crossbow really increased my damage, and it's really easy to make. I bought the base for 5 divs I think at the time, because it was a T2 fizz percent of damage, and then the rest of it cost me maybe a div worth more of currency, because I had to buy some of the graders, I had to buy some other stuff, so on and so forth. But yeah, this crossbow is really strong. My gloves, the reason why I'm using armor gloves is because of this particular node in my passive tree called leather bound gauntlets. This provides me evasion rating per 1% of armor on my gloves. So it's like I have a 479 armor, 479 evasion glove, which is really nice. My necklace is your spirit necklace with some resistances, rarities, so on and so forth. I did allocate Primal Sunder as a way to increase my DPS. I don't know if I need all this pen. Honestly, I might go for something else because POB is telling me pen is really good, but I have Fire Pen 2 on my explosive grenade, so it kind of almost feels like it omits the purpose of it. Maybe with the pen goes further, I don't know, but POB tells me this gives me a lot of damage, so I went for that. So on and so forth. And my rings are just your standard, you know, resistance with some fizz and flat damage on them, so on and so forth. My gloves, I do think this build is mana intensive. You're using 5 grenades. So you're doing that, you're doing that, you're doing this, you're doing that, and you can see it drains your mana when you're kind of combing through these. Flash grenade and cluster grenade still does fizz damage. So if I were to click on my flash grenade here, I actually have brutality in it to do more fizz damage. All it does is fizz damage, and my cluster grenade also does fizz damage right here. So this leech from physical attack damage as mana is really helpful in fights, because I'm still able to get mana back at a tick that I don't have to constantly be spamming my pot during a fight. I would highly recommend for this particular build, that's one of your mods on your gloves. Either on your gloves, I think on rings you can get it, but definitely if you have space for it on the gloves, I would get this as a mod on your glove instead of trying to go for flat damage, just because it's a quality of life thing. Belt is some normal belt, it could be better. But yeah, a lot of this gear could technically be better, right? And I guess I'm trying to get across is like, yeah, at level 92, I've never really felt like I've hit a wall with this character. I was able to do Arbiter pretty simple, all the pinnacle bosses for the mechanics pretty simply. I didn't really struggle with any of them. I'm pretty sure if I can get to level 4, they might be a little bit more beefier, but as long as I know the mechanics, I probably won't struggle with them. So I feel like this build is really strong, and I think it can take you pretty far with not that crazy of an investment, because a lot of this is self-crafted. Like, I haven't really gone out and built this gear or bought this gear, so on and so forth. Let's go over my passive tree. So the crutch of this entire build when I first started was trying to get Sork Ward, and I felt Sork Ward would be really strong with the armor. It also applies elemental damage, because Sork Ward is taking elemental hits taken from this buff before your life or energy shield, and if you apply armor before taking this elemental damage, I believe, and someone can fact check me on this, that armor mitigation happens before it takes from your Sork Ward. So technically your Sork Ward will be up more often than not for elemental damage, because you are applying this armor. Also applies to elemental damage calculation. I got Consecration because I personally don't think I need help with clear, and I don't think the Decimating Strike and Culling Strike is warranted to do stuff. I also don't think this 100 passive thing can work for this particular build. I wouldn't know what to do with 200 passes, one for weapon 1, one for weapon 2 for this particular build. So I just went for the good old Witchbane with no mercy, dealing with missing concentration, primarily for bossing, so I can do more damage to bosses. The tree hasn't really changed all too much from my previous video, so I'm still centering around the mercenary area. I'm getting all the grenade nodes here. I'm getting all the 2-hand damage, fizz damage with breaking armor, similar to my previous video. I'm still going for Multi-One's Gift with all this information over here, but I did move away from the ranger area. I dropped acceleration as well as the catalysis because I don't really need so much attack speed. I noticed I thought I needed attack speed to get these grenades out, but what I really needed was ways to keep moving and not like dropping my movement speed when I cast a spell or a skill technically. So I went and opted in for spray and pray. This has actually helped me a lot, because now I can just continually move like this without losing my momentum so much, instead of stopping like dead in my tracks to shoot a grenade. This allows me to reduce this penalty by what, 8, 3, 3, 6, 14 plus another 8, like 21%. And that's almost like the I think the momentum gem that you can put on an item. So it feels good to use this here. I also opted to change my pathing here so I can go to momentum over here. It removes the movement penalty from armor, and I think this helps me a lot just with clear, because I'm able to actually walk around the maps pretty fast instead of being sort of like a slow trugging tank. Outside of that, as you notice, the tree really hasn't changed since the last video. Just to kind of give a recap of the video, I'm using gas grenade to break armor, and by breaking that armor, I'm applying the Multi-One's Gift, where instead of having more fizz damage taken from it, which also happens when you fully break an armor, they also take fire damage from it. So my flash grenade, my explosive grenade, my cluster grenade, my gas grenade, all of them are now doing 20% more damage when they have no armor, which is really nice. And also here I get more fire damage here. So this is the passive, and mind you, I'm going to post a POB on this video. I'm not going to kind of leave it out there like I did last one, because last one was like a quick, hey, check out this idea, so on and so forth. There will be a POB here. Going over the gems, I kind of haven't really changed too much with my gems. I'm not really using my mortar cannon anymore. You don't really need this. I did add an additional spirit gem here because I felt like time of need was really helpful for this build. My previous video, I had Wind Dancer and Scavenge Plating and kind of, you know, give me evasion, give me armor. But time of need is actually really nice now because you get to remove those really dumb cursed circles that you sometimes step into in maps now, because it takes like what, 10 seconds to remove it, and those things last like 20 to 30 seconds sometimes. It also gives you some life. I also opted in because I have the spirit necklace to get some vitality now. One of the drawbacks from this build is that you don't really have a way to combat ground degen, and I just wanted to try to find some way to do that with some regen. It's been working out for me so far, but nothing else has really changed all too much with these gems, right? I have explosive grenade here. It's got fire pen, fire attunement, multi-shot 2, short fusion 1, heft. Cluster grenade has deliberation, fire attunement, heft, multi-shot 2, payload. Gas grenade has corrosion. It's got the new legacy support gem, Urker's smelting. It's got fire attunement, magnify area 1, as well as elemental focus. Flash grenade is where I'm getting a lot of my fizz damage from. I'm getting brutality 3, cooldown recovery, magnify area 1, heft, and then I added mana leech to this just to continue to reinforce how I can get mana from here. I might drop this for another sort of damage gem, but I don't know. I really like being able to throw out a couple flash grenades and get all my mana back so I can toss out my other stuff. So that's kind of why I left it here. Oil grenade's been staying the same. It's all about exposure for oil. So I did magnifying with potential exposure to it, as well as maim so that they're slowed in the oil, and then I get it out faster. This mortar cannon, as I mentioned earlier, I wanted to do with Voltaxer grenade for like some shocking for bossing, but like, I'll be honest, I don't really click this anymore. I'll put it maybe up for a boss, but like it dies too fast, and like I'm just kind of like, I tried, and I move on to just throwing out my other grenades. So you can kind of omit this if you wanted to. Wind Dancer is your standard blind 2, cooldown recovery, and magnifying area effect 2, because you want to be able to blind everybody when it pops. Time of need has a compression duration to give less skill effect, so it's quicker to come out because no longer 10 seconds. It can be a little bit quicker than that. It's got precision 1 for my accuracy, because I do need accuracy when it comes to spray and pray. If I am not moving, I am at 100% with 89. However, if I move, I lose accuracy. I become 185 at 9 meters. 9 meters is pretty far. I think 9 meters is like across the fucking screen. So like, as long as I keep them in my sight, I'm at 100% accuracy. But without precision, I believe, I actually probably show you right now. Without precision, I think I'm like, I drop down to, yeah, 95 and 99. So I do need some sort of accuracy in this build. I have vitality, as I mentioned earlier, to deal with ground degen, and then scavenge plating. I have prolonged duration and got some levels up in it so I can get more armor, and then I got cannibalism just to kind of help me in mapping. This can be swapped out for clarity if you feel like you need some clarity, or you need more mana regen, what have you, but I feel comfortable with this particular setup here. Yeah. Outside of that, I'm gonna kind of continue playing this build. I want to see how far I can push it. I want to see if it's actually something that I could get to do some like of the stronger pinnacle bosses. Hell, even maybe Uber Arbiter. I don't know yet, but I just want to get this video out there because I want to make it more of a formal guide, and I wanted to kind of show off this cool build I made. Anyhow, thanks again for watching. I know it's been a little long, but I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch you next time and make another video. Take care.